Hello and welcome to another episode of Modular in a Week. Today is the day I show the fix for Grenar with the Zener diode that we did a while back for beaks and gris. And so I've done a redesign of this. The design is basically removing the two trim pots that I had to add before to get it to work. So the previous version works as it is, and you don't need to do anything with that. But the new version, the two trim pots are gone, and instead there are two 100K resistors. And then I replaced the resistor for the Zener, and the Zener diode is now the correct type. So that means there is, if you buy the Grenar now and forward, you will get the kit without the trim pots. And for that matter, I have made a new build video, which is also released. And the old build video is there as well, if you still haven't built the old one, so there is that. And the silk screen represents all the new components, so it's easy to build the new version as well. There's nothing strange about that. So that's it. We fixed this one as well, and this is now even more like the original. Now it's basically is like the original. Before there was a trim pot in the way. What is maybe more interesting for you is because I could remove two trim pots and just add two resistors, which are much cheaper. I have lowered the price for this, not by much, by $50, as a symbolic thing, I guess, just to show that you actually can lower prices in this day and age. It's not very common practice. Most companies and people raise prices just on and on, calling for inflation and stuff like that. I just wanted to show that you can actually lower prices, and I did this. So $50 less for you to spend if you want to get one of these. And that's it about the Zener fix and stuff like that. But to make this episode a little bit more fun, a new user on the Discord server asked if the Twigs firmware worked on Grenar, which is an alternate firmware for branches. And what it does, it converts this two Bernoulli gates into a VC swing and VC factor module, which basically, you have two either that you can use to get a swing between 50 and 70% swing in an incoming clock signal, or you can use it to multiply or divide the incoming clock signal, thereby getting a really interesting and nifty clock divider and multiplier, actually. So I tried that, and it works. It works when you have the new bootloader, because just like the original branches, there is some bug in the original code which messes up with the Arduino Nano when you have the old bootloader. But the new bootloader just works straight off the bat. Just download the hex file either from the Twigs GitHub, or I have a copy on my GitHub as well. I'm trying to see if we can figure out if we can fix that one with the old bootloader as well. Twig, not to be confused with Twigs, which is the alternate firmware here we're talking about, but Twig, the user on Discord, fixed that for the original. So there's two hex files if you want to run branches firmware on the Grenar with an old bootloader. You need to use that. So to do this, I actually made a new front plate for the Twigs firmware. that shows all the controls that is set up here instead. So you see the VC swing factor, and you see the multiplication and divisions of when turning the pot. So to make this video a bit fun and show some musical stuff, I'm going to change the front plate here. This one works for both versions, old and new, if you want one of these. So we're going to change this front plate, and we're going to see it in action in the modular. But before we do that, I'd like to say thank you to my Patreons who support me on Patreon and make this a little bit easier to test a few things like alternate panels and stuff like that out. So thank you very much, guys. You're amazing. Also, thank you to everyone on the Discord server. It's an amazing bunch of people there, having lots of fun and lots of ideas, and everyone is just helping each other out with their projects and stuff. So thank you to everyone there as well. Now, let's go and check it out in the modular. Before we put it in the rack, I want to say one more thing. So this new version, there was a lot of questions if the channel 1 was normally coupled to channel 2, so an input on channel 2 on this one, so if this would then connect and be a gate input on channel 2 as well. In the original it doesn't do that, but on this new, without the trim pots, I've added this little jumper here that you can actually add like so, and then it is normally coupled between input 1 and input 2. But for the Twigs to work, we need to remove this one and lose it. There, gone forever. Because this firmware doesn't actually has a clock input there and reset up there. So if they were coupled, every time you get the clock in, you would every time you get the reset in, you would get the clock in and stuff like that. So remove that. So now we have it in the rack. We have one Twigs and one Grenar, just to show. And so this one has the old bootloader and also works, but this one needs to be the new bootloader as of this moment. Vi skiter i det. Alright, so we have it in the rack. We have lots of options for getting a trig in here. I'm going to use the Sith in LFO and hold mode. And if we do this just to show on what it sounds like it's just an LFO where this is the attack or rising edge and this is the decay. And just by keeping the attack or rising edge at 0, it will be straight, and that will work as a clock. So on the Twigs, clock input is down here, and that is the clock for both channels, even without that little thing I removed. And let's see, it's a bit difficult to see which mode we're in, because if a quick press on either of these will reset that channel. You also have a full module reset there. The CV still is for these two knobs. You got CV there and CV there, and the output are just the same. Both outputs are the same. There's no difference in between these two. So by holding it, we change function. Hold. And I think so now we are in factor. So you see when we're here it's only green. That means it only has the original clocks. And if we go multiply this way, it goes almost all red and really many, and this way it turns down red very, very slowly. And if we hold it again, now we are in BC swing mode. So let's connect some drums, basically, I think. for this. We're going to use a bunch of beaks for this. So we have split the channel, the clock here, so it also goes to a bass buddy down here playing a braids, just 4-note bass line, so to speak, and then the other one goes into the clock here. And here we have divide by 2 for the bass drum. We can go down to divide by 3. And then we can go the other way, which we have with the hi-hat. As you can hear, we have ×2. And we can go extreme. Or we can keep it here and we can go into shuffle mode. Let's just keep the hi-hat and bass drum. And let's go divide by 4. I think something like that. Let's go a bit faster. And here you can here we have the normal 1, 2, 3. And then we start with the shuffling. And all the way up there. So here I've taken a gate input from an LFO square wave into the gate in, and when it is triggered, the envelope goes with such a short sustain that it doesn't affect, or low sustain that it doesn't affect the output signal. As you can see on the in-tenuverter here, it is barely a little bit negative, which means that it is giving out an inverted curve, so it's actually giving an inverse envelope, which lowers this CV value, which means we go into the multiplication on the left side of the 1 and the divisions are on the right side. If we go up a little bit positive instead, it will turn into a pause instead in the hi-hat. And we can also go even faster. It's quite not very useful anymore, but we added another Grenar now, so a Bernoulli gate, splitting the signal, just giving a tom or whatever kind of drum is down here from time to time. And we're playing the bass drum as a bass. So that is all this module does, basically, but it's still a very useful addition to the Grenar branches thing, because this actually, I mean, divisions and multiplications also very nice, and also VC swing. I think it's really cool to get that human feel, and yeah, I like it. I wish there would have been 2 clock inputs that could have been easier to manipulate the multiplication and division, but yeah, it is what it is. I guess just buy more, or just download the Gerber files, order a bunch of, like, order 5 Grenar PCBs and 5 of each of the panels of both, and then you can have as many dividers and Bernoulli gates as you'd want. Or we build another module that's much better than this at dividing and multiplying and all that. But that's for another video. For this, also, yeah, if I haven't said, I'm coming to Dutch Modular Fest. Would be fun if you also came, if you are in Europe. I mean, it's in Rotterdam, so it's quite Central Europe. It will take me 10 hours to drive by car, or 11, 12, yeah, a long time. But it'll be fun to at least meet a few of you. I know I will be there, David Haliant will be there, and a bunch more. So hope to see you there, and for now, take care, bye.